Welcome back, sports fans! Today, we're diving into the fiery side of baseball with our countdown of the top 10 most memorable MLB ejections. Strap in as we revisit those explosive moments where legends were made in the heat of confrontation. 10. The classic kick. Lou Piniella. In 2002, Lou Piniella became the centerpiece of a memorable MLB ejection after a disputed safe call at first base. Known for his fiery temperament, Piniella didn't just argue the call. He put on a show that captivated both fans and players. In a moment of pure frustration, he kicked his hat across the field, not once, but 3 times, demonstrating his disagreement in a manner that was both theatrical and unmistakable. Each kick sent the cap flying further, drawing cheers and laughs from the crowd, even as the umpire signaled his ejection from the game. This display of raw emotion from Piniella was not just about the heat of the moment. It was a vivid illustration of the intense passion and the sometimes boiling pressures within professional baseball. 9. The base toss. Philip Wellman's 2007 minor league managerial ejection stands out as one of the most theatrical in baseball history. During a game, Wellman famously contested an umpire's call with such vigor that it escalated into one of the most unforgettable displays of on-field protest. His initial argument quickly turned into a performance when he decided that merely voicing his displeasure wasn't enough. In a dramatic gesture, Wellman plucked third base from the dirt and hurled it into the outfield, symbolizing his outright rejection of the umpire's decision. This act of defiance not only cemented his ejection, but also immortalized him in the annals of baseball lore. The base toss went beyond a simple disagreement over a call. It was a vivid expression of frustration and theatricality, making it a moment relished by fans and remembered as a pinnacle of managerial meltdowns. 8. The equipment dump. Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox, a name synonymous with managerial ejections, carved a niche for himself in MLB history with his fiery exchanges and record number of ejections. One standout moment came when Cox decided to visually emphasize his displeasure with an umpire's call by dumping all the equipment, bats and balls, onto the field. This act of defiance occurred during a heated game where Cox felt a series of calls went against his team. By emptying the dugout of its equipment in protest, he not only made a dramatic statement, but also underscored his reputation for being fiercely protective of his players and passionate about the game. 7. The hat trick. Joe McCulloch. In 2006, minor league manager Joe McCulloch's ejection became a hallmark of baseball lore due to his over-the-top reaction to a disputed call. McCulloch's initial disagreement with the umpire's decision quickly escalated into a theatrical spectacle. Not content with merely arguing, he proceeded to remove his shoes and jersey, dramatically placing them on home plate as a symbolic gesture of his discontent. This act was both a literal and figurative stripping away of his managerial role in protest. McCulloch's display didn't stop at his clothing. His impassioned performance included kicking dirt, vehemently tossing equipment, and vehemently gesturing, which underscored his frustration and disbelief at the call. This ejection not only highlighted McCulloch's intense commitment to his team, but also left an indelible mark on the spectators and players, making it one of the most memorable meltdowns in baseball. 6. The spit heard round the world. Roberto Alomar. In 1996, Roberto Alomar's ejection marked one of the most infamous moments in MLB history, escalating far beyond a typical on-field dispute. After a contentious strike call, Alomar vehemently argued with umpire John Hirschbeck, leading to an intense confrontation that shocked fans and players alike. In a moment of extreme frustration, Alomar did the unthinkable. He spit in the umpire's face. This act of disrespect not only led to his immediate ejection, but also sparked widespread controversy and debate across the sports world. The incident tarnished Alomar's reputation, despite his otherwise stellar career, and prompted discussions about sportsmanship and the boundaries of player-umpire interactions. This ejection remains a pivotal moment in baseball history, serving as a stark reminder of the intense emotions and pressures that can boil over in the heat of competition. 5. Covering home plate. Lloyd McClendon. Lloyd McClendon's 2001 ejection is etched in the annals of baseball history for its sheer audacity and symbolic significance. Frustrated with a series of calls he deemed unfair, McClendon took his protest to an unprecedented level during a particularly contentious game. After a close play at first base, he vehemently argued with the umpire and, upon being ejected, decided to make a dramatic statement. In a moment that would define his managerial style, McClendon didn't just leave the field, he literally took it with him. He unhooked first base from its mooring and carried it off the field, effectively stealing the base in a literal sense. This act of defiance was both a protest against the specific call and a broader statement about his perceived injustices his team faced. McClendon's ejection and subsequent base theft became a legendary moment, symbolizing frustration and defiance in the face of authority. 4. The animated argument. Billy Martin. Billy Martin's managerial career is punctuated with fiery encounters, but one of his most memorable ejections occurred in 1983 during a game against the Oakland Athletics. Known for his spirited debates with umpires, Martin took his protest to new heights over a disputed call at second base. In a dramatic display of frustration, he began kicking the dirt onto the umpire's shoes, a gesture that visibly marked his dissent. This was more than just an argument. It was an animated performance that showcased his intense passion and sometimes combative nature towards officiating. Martin's antics escalated until the umpire had no choice but to eject him from the game. This ejection was emblematic of Martin's career, marked by his zeal and sometimes contentious relationships with baseball's authorities, making it a quintessential Billy Martin moment. 3. The jacket toss. Earl Weaver. Earl Weaver, the fiery manager of the Baltimore Orioles, was well known for his explosive temper and frequent confrontations with umpires. One of his most memorable ejections occurred when he took his protest against a call to an iconic level. In the heat of an argument, Weaver dramatically removed his jacket and threw it at the feet of the umpire. This act was not just a simple gesture of frustration. It was a theatrical display that emphasized his intense disagreement and disdain for the decision. The jacket toss became a defining moment in Weaver's career, symbolizing his passionate and often combative approach to managing. His theatrical ejections were part of what made him a beloved figure in Baltimore and a legendary character in the annals of Major League Baseball. 2. The famous flipping. Terry Collins. Terry Collins' 2016 ejection became one of the most famous in recent MLB history, particularly due to the intensity he displayed during a game against the Milwaukee Brewers. After a controversial call at home plate, Collins exploded in a tirade of fury. His reaction was not just verbal, he punctuated his displeasure by flipping his cap into the air and kicking the dirt around home plate, visibly illustrating his frustration and anger. The scene was dramatic, with Collins' actions echoing the classic impassioned baseball disputes of old. His ejection was notable not just for the ferocity of his response, but also for the way it captured the essence of a manager fighting vehemently for his team's interests. This incident went viral, highlighting the emotional highs and lows of baseball, and remains a memorable moment for fans of the sport. 1. The Grand Slam of Ejections. Tommy Lasorda. Tommy Lasorda's ejection in 1978 stands as a legendary event in MLB history, embodying the fiery spirit of one of baseball's most colorful and passionate figures. During a particularly contentious game, a controversial call at home plate ignited Lasorda's temper like a fuse. His response was explosive. Lasorda unleashed a verbal barrage on the umpire, gesticulating wildly and using every ounce of his theatrical flair. He didn't just argue, he performed, throwing his cap, kicking the dirt, and pacing the field in a display of raw emotion and fervent protest. This ejection wasn't just about the heat of the moment. It was about a manager who wore his heart on his sleeve, passionately defending his team's interests. Lasorda's dramatic ejection became a defining moment of his career, showcasing his intense commitment to the game and his fiery, indomitable spirit. That wraps up our fiery journey through baseball's most unforgettable ejections. Which one shocked you the most? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more thrilling baseball content. Catch you next time.